我不吃牛肉。
I don't eat beef. This is becoming the current state of the Chinese internet. There's simply no logic to speak of. No matter what card you play, the other party will immediately hit you with a point laugh collection or respond sarcastically, forcing you to abandon rationality and transform into a Zhuan warrior to join in the magic attack. In the end, everyone takes pleasure in brawling, forming camps, escalating from one-on-one battles to team fights, vowing not to stop until the other side is defeated. Let's talk about the sharp tools of the Chinese internet these days. If we're talking about the most heated internet debates in recent years, the Genshin Impact community takes the cake, with everything else trailing far behind in the top 10. Some have even labeled this game as Darkness Descending, akin to the White Walkers in A Song of Ice and Fire, or Voldemort, whose name dare not be spoken, like a cult-like existence. And all internet madman behaviors are ultimately summed up by everyone in one sentence. Playing Genshin Impact makes people act more bizarrely. What's even more peculiar is that the two opposing groups may not have played Genshin Impact at all, yet they both point their swords at it. What crime has Genshin Impact committed? It doesn't have the power to change the Chinese internet. On the contrary, it's just a microcosm of the confrontational sentiment on the Chinese internet. It's just the most blazing fire. Of course, in 2024, what's even hotter than Genshin Impact is the hot and spicy. Because I personally love this movie and have released multiple videos reviewing it, I've successfully made it into the top tier of Longying Film and Television Zone UPER content creators. However, I've also received quite a few warm greetings from netizens. I appreciate your concern here and will strive to produce more such works in the future to influence audiences. Nowadays, there are more and more trolls, and the hostility is getting heavier, making the entire Chinese internet feel like an outhouse. In addition to the main parties involved, the followers on both sides are also engaged in fierce battles, and bystanders are tired, eager to use a hallway headshot to put an end to these endless quarrels. Every time this happens, I feel like maybe the way we're accessing the internet is wrong. So, over these years, as the internet has become more extreme and polarized, is it that people have changed or society has changed? It should be said that both aspects are involved. There's a niche community called toilet in subcultures. Toilet is the colloquial term for some anonymous, shouting at bosses from afar, posts on Weibo. These types of Weibo posts allow for the venting of emotions freely, and since their users are mostly female, they call themselves side sisters and address each other as husband or baby. Whether toilet or side came first is now impossible to trace. As an outsider, I've summarized the characteristics of side. They're usually young, between 14 and 18 years old, with depression or bipolar disorder, self-harming and posting photos online, having a habit of drug abuse, mostly cold medicine and painkillers, with a strong resentment towards the rich, believing that the wealthy have stolen their lives, but at the same time, they have a strong admiration for the strong. Side beauties are often property women, a group of netizens who feel they're very miserable, gathering together to complain and lick their wounds. So how do these side fans carry out online violence? Since most side individuals have a low level of education and are not capable of organizing hundreds of words of language coherently, they'll take screenshots of the online comments they're unhappy with and submit them to related toilets, adding sarcastic expressions or just a simple bottle. Then, the comment section begins its collective action, filled with all kinds of agreement and ridicule. They resonate emotionally here and find comfort, such as the frequently seen terms "bio dad" and "burst coins," which often come from the mouths of side. However, the internet is a world where one thing suppresses another. The more filthy the toilet, the dirtier the shengba, a term related to online behavior. Side focuses its fire on all male creatures, while Sunba Lan is famous on the internet for giving him 2 slaps. They're evenly matched, mutually hostile yet understanding of each other. Sunba Lan can get into a junior college, and side eyebrows are mostly in junior or senior high school. Considering the inequality between the sexes, it's a draw. Sunba Lan flaunts women, and women are extremely detestable, while side hates and despises men, also extremely detestable, truly birds of a feather. But in some aspects, they have their own hierarchies, such as Sunba girls being worshipped by Sunba Lan, asking for WeChat, while toilet men are often mercilessly crushed by toilet women. Sunba Lan can group up to charge at other Ba or people when encountering issues, while Side only shines individually when facing problems. Sunba Lan's spiritual leader is Sun Zai Achuan, and their daily life looks up to mountains and rivers, while Side sisters are originally a group of tough girls, taking to the internet and forming gangs. Sunba Mouse, Weibo sister, both are people who have fallen on hard times, should have entered the same door. If it were in the past, the children would have been exposed twice, but the internet has divided them into green fish and flying birds, never to meet in this life. The reason for using Sunba Lan and Side as examples is that they happen to represent one of the most extreme groups on the Chinese internet. To use everyone's teasing words, "You're so venomous with your words, your life must be very bitter, right?" Indeed, they are all marginalized members of society. The car girls come from unhappy families of origin, leading to their mental instability. Sunba Lan failed in doing problems, leading to self-abandonment. Hardworking and frustrated, without the window of the internet, their suppressed emotions would be even harder to release. In real life, in Poor Here, there are fathers in prison, mothers working night shifts in factories, and grandparents who can only lie at home when they're sick. They have to take a 36-hour green train ride to go home. They share experiences like the 5 yuan per bar oatmeal from Pinduoduo, group purchases of sanitary pads, and how to cash out dozens of yuan by watching short videos. Sunba Lan regards themselves as mice, living in the gutters, indignant about the world and hating its vulgarity yet powerless, so they use stale jokes and emoji packs to conceal their cruel lives, pretending this place is a sanctuary for people of character, an enlightenment farm where one dares to speak the truth after half a lifetime. In reality, it's just the self-mockery and venting that fun people and traditional script people can't achieve. The toilet must be smelly, but we can't do without it. There are too many pitiful and insecure clowns in the world who have already exerted all their strength in performing in front of others. Although the toilet is dirty and the air sucked in is also polluted, at least there's no gaze of class. After all, it's only once a year that rich people pretend to be silly to entertain everyone, and it's getting less and less funny. It's becoming increasingly difficult for us to have low-cost happiness. In real life, we must disguise ourselves and try not to express our true thoughts to avoid a lot of trouble. It's really not worth it to part on bad terms just because of differences in opinions on distant wars like the Russia-Ukraine conflict, or due to disagreements on traditional Chinese medicine or feminism. After all, aside from these differing views, we have no vested interests in conflict, and we even treat each other quite well, fighting to pay the bill when eating together. The emergence of the internet, especially social media, has changed all of this. Cheap thrills have become extremely easy to obtain. You can expand your desire to express yourself without considering pressure and face, conquering cities and expanding territories, style, crazily hunting for the pleasure of expression. How low is this cost? You just need to click a like to empathize with tens of thousands of people. You post a .1 urgent one laugh, and you'll receive hundreds or even thousands of reactions. Such a low cost can easily make people lose their rationality. Most people are just little Chinese letter, transparent in life, with almost no listeners. But on the internet, everyone is equal. If you disagree with what I say, your one comment can lead thousands of troops to trample me flat. Let me mention that the internet makes people feel very comfortable, but it doesn't mean it's real. It's like you receive an iPad and PS membership games every month, but most of them have been eating dust in your favorites for a long time. Free stuff is just great. Why not take it if it's free? The cost of online speech is low, and it doesn't matter if you're unhappy. American social psychologist Jonathan Haidt published a cover article in The Atlantic discussing why social media, which was supposed to promote communication, has instead led Americans into endless arguments. He believes the key turning point was in 2009. Facebook launched the Nike button, and since then, everyone can approve or take sides with another person with just a thumb tap. Twitter launched the retweet function the same year, and a person's expression of anger and dissatisfaction can instantly spread to tens of millions of people. It's said that the engineer who developed the retweet button for Twitter was very regretful afterwards, saying this feature was like giving a loaded weapon to a 4-year-old child. In fact, it's unsolvable. once the Pandora's box is released, it can't be controlled. Just like Douyin has swept the world, people's attention can only be focused on dozens of seconds, making everyone unwilling to watch TV series, with 12-minute short dramas quickly reaching the climax. Unlike the rest of the world, the Chinese internet also has its particularities. The Chinese internet is rarely disturbed by the outside world. No matter how loud the thunder is outside, even if the earth is shaking and the mountains are moving, it's always calm here, truly a paradise. What problems arise when billions of people share one system? An event can go from erupting to disappearing in just a few days, and this kind of spread is very terrifying. For example, an ordinary little essay, posted the night before yesterday, the next day, whether you're in the office buildings of Beijing, Shanghai, or Guangzhou, or in a small village deep in the mountains, many people see the forwarded information in groups at the same time. And if the referee can't make the correct call, these netizens on both sides can only prove themselves right by hurting others. So every hot event sparks a war of public opinion, which can easily destroy a person, and even if there's a reversal later, no one cares anymore. In this environment, if one is fortunate enough to manipulate it, with the platform's cooperation, public opinion can quickly be played within the palm of one's hand. For example, take a movie. Regardless of its quality, as long as it buys a huge number of hot searches and carries out carpet-bombing promotion, even if it's overwhelmed with negative reviews, it will be drowned out by an even more overwhelming buying of volume. And in the end, it will become very hot. No matter what happens in the future, whether it's cultural products like movies and TV shows, or vulgar, common, and pandering things like affairs and cheating, whether you use facts to strike against the other party, or those who want to make money, have ulterior motives, or take the opportunity to retaliate, can all use social media to achieve their goals. Then in the future, we'll see fewer and fewer good movies, with trashy marketing everywhere, leaving you nowhere to hide, and in-depth content and output becoming increasingly scarce. But this is precisely why I chose to make videos on Bilibili. Although some people mock it as the children's toilet, and it's even a bit anti-commercial, the connection between people and the ability to express oneself freely are unmatched by other places. However, we must also face a reality. In a single system, if it always relies on self-cycling, it will become a large poison breeding ground. A social youth suddenly gains tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of fans overnight because he kneels to pay respects, calling a big streamer dad, and gets promoted. Live stream internet celebrities become familial, with descendants creating a bunch. This is the digital version of feudal stench culture, a unique spectacle of the Chinese internet. Our society is too complex, with pre-modern and modern elements interwoven, never having moved beyond rural China. In this situation, when real-life things enter the internet, its bad money drives out good. Just like the reason Social Shake was banned is probably not what everyone thinks, could it be more vulgar than some lowbrow streamers? Many people haven't seen the social attributes of Social Shake animals. Sam's spiritual guys gathering together, doing linking up and competing with each other, all wanting to compete for the king of martial arts throne. This will make the rural clan culture quietly rise, gradually spreading towards the cities. And the clan system has already been restored in the countryside, a trend that needs to be curbed but still grows wildly. To be honest, the urban culture constructed by the petty bourgeoisie, even if it's occasionally a bit affected, is still better than the clan culture, feudal culture, and geographical culture constructed by pre-modern times. With the development of the rural economy, the latter is counterattacking the former. Don't believe it? Go to Douyin and see, the internet toilet won't disappear, pre-modern forces are making a comeback, and collectively depressed young people need to express themselves. So we really don't need to exert too much effort on the internet, sharp tools, the destruction of consumerist spectacle etiquette, the carnival of rats. These are originally the true face of the internet, with an unshakable foundation. We need to learn to view it rationally.